name's Alan Lander of Rooftrain. We're working in association with independent Slate Supplies to bring you a series of short videos on how to slate a simple roof. This section, we're going to deal with slating onto stainless steel hooks with a spike on. We've already felt and battened the roof. We've marked the perps out. We've struck the centre of the battens. We're now going to show coming from the verge, across the eaves, up the verge, and slating on a rake. All right, so now I've fixed my first slate and a half. I can't put a hook through that because obviously I would make a hole in that. So that one there has to be nailed as well. All the perimeters have to be nailed. This is your eave, which is nailed. This one has to be nailed. Mark your holes in there, nail it. And I always put an extra couple of fixings in it. On this one here, this is your first full slate going on. Needs to be on the mark, mark your fixings, make the holes, and then you need to fix. At least 3 fixings on a slate and at least 4 on a slate and a half. Once you've got those 2 on there, get your stainless steel hook. The hook needs to go above the eave into the line that you've marked on your batten. You put it to the side like that and then slip it in. Just makes things a little bit easier and you don't clatter the slates. So this one hook holds the top of that slate. When you put the next one in, it holds the bottom of that, but that slate holds that slate and then that slate. So one hook has got 4 fixings for the slates around it. So this is the one that slides into the slate hook. You just go up above it. Sometimes you have to pull it out, sometimes you don't. Get it down in. Make sure you've got your gap in between. Next slate and a half. Now, it needs to go into the hook to find the right place to go, and it needs to go onto your perps here. What I would do then would be to mark off where I want to nail. That hole there, find out where my batten is here, that one there, and this here, I want to nail there, and I want to nail there. So that's the slate and a half fixed. Always put more fixings in. There's a lot of stresses and strain on a verge. So you have one there anyway, one there, and I always put 2 at the top. Same with the slate, a lot of stresses and strains there. Mark off where you want your nail, hole, I now put my slate hooks in on these courses here in readiness for the next slate that goes in on the rake. Same again, this goes into the center line on the batten. Just take it out there. Now what I'm going to do is come across here now, start putting the first course on. Said before, this is part of the perimeter, so these have to be nailed because this cannot be hooked. Okay, so what we've done here, we've brought the first course across. The soaker, the first soaker, goes on top of the eave and underneath this slate here. We've done that and we fixed it. What I need to do now is find how far down my next soaker comes there. And what I want to do is put a line across there to there, because when I put the soaker on, I don't want to see it when the slates are on. So I'll put this soaker on into the corner, but I want to be 2 to 3 mil above that line because I don't want to see the soaker when the slate goes on. Right in there like that. This one's nails on there. The way you get the length of your soaker is you take the headlap and the gauge and 25 mil. The 25 mil is that bit there so that I can nail it to the batten. And the lead is code 3 lead. You want it thin because you don't want it kicking the slates up. The sequence I've done there is eave, soaker on top of the eave, cut slate on top of the soaker, soaker on top of that slate but not showing, slate and a half, fixed. These two will be fixed now. The next sequence is this again, so I'll mark across, put a line on there where I don't want the soaker to come past, put my soaker on, slate this in, and again, and again, and again. It's just repeat, repeat, repeat. So what I'm doing now, I've come up another couple of courses. I'm going to put this soaker onto there, put the slate there, cut into the abutment. That will continue all the way up through to the top. And then on the top courses, we have to cut 2 courses. So the top comes off one, and the next one is roughly in half, whatever the length might be to get to the top. As I said earlier, this is a perimeter, so they are hooked, but they're also nailed. Okay? Same sequence up to the top. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. Okay. I need to mark across there. I need to mark across there to find out where my soaker doesn't come down past. Okay, I'm just going to show you now how to cut the top slate. I'm on this side of the roof because it's easier to show you how to do it, otherwise I'd be in the way. So put the slate into the hook as far as down as it will go. Make sure your gap is right here. I would then mark halfway onto this batten and this side. Take it out. Transfer those marks to the back. Mark your line on the back where the cut is going to go. I would then cut that slate, right, just cut the top off. So this goes into the hook now, make sure it's right down. Make sure you have your gap between the slates, 6 mil, correct. So this is the penultimate course here. They're secured by hooks on the bottom, which the rest of the roof is, but because this is a perimeter, then I'm also nailing as well. So that's as good as you get. It's hooked and it's nailed. The next one I do, I'll show you how to mark it now. That also will be hooked and it will be nailed as well. Now, because I've got a nice straight line here, I'll mark that there. Mark the top of the batten onto the slate, take it out. I transfer that to the back because we always cut natural slates from the back. Put a straight edge on there, mark that across. So I've got a nice straight edge which corresponds to the top of the batten. I then put that in, mark my nail holes. I'm now going to start putting my cuts across the top. I don't need to put hooks in there because the ridge is the thing that goes on top of there now. That concludes the video on fixing the slates into stainless steel hooks. Whenever you're doing these, you need to fix double at the perimeters. In the abutment as well, I've shown putting the lead slate in there, the lead soaker, and how to get the measurement of the soaker. Also, we fix across the top because the top underneath the ridge is a perimeter. We've nailed both courses of slate on there. So the first course of cut slate is hooked and it's also nailed. The second course of cut slate is hooked and it's also nailed. Our next video in the series is to show you how to fix a dry vented ridge system and to secure the ridges to that system.